It is time for a special edition of Litter Media Live. It's the Pickaway County Special Edition, and today we're going to talk about Logan Elm Schools. We have Tim Williams. He is the superintendent of Logan Elm Schools and elementary principal, a familiar face to Chillicothe people, Joanna Strawser. We're going to talk about what is going on at Logan Elm. They got a new house. We'll explain that and more coming up in just a moment. Right now, let's tell you about Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. They are your total comfort advisor. And if you click on this ad anywhere you see it on our website, littermedia.com, it will take you right to their website, which is accuratehvac.com. They take care of your heating, your cooling, and your plumbing. Find out more at accuratehvac.com. Tim Williams with us, Joanna Strawser, Logan Elm. Talk about the new digs. It's got to be a great feeling.
You know, it is. And first of all, thank you for having us here today. I told the board on Monday evening, if we reflect on the past year, I think we're better off in every aspect than we were a year ago. And I think that's where you need to start. When you take on something this large and you move 6 buildings into one, you need to take a little time to reflect. We passed the bond issue prior to COVID. So we had the bond issue, we had COVID, we had the design of the building, and we finally made it to the end. It's been a great start. I think if you look back and look at, I won't go through everything, but we had to look at new bus routes. They're more efficient. We had to look at safety. We're safer than we were when we had 6 buildings. So that's just 2 ideas or 2 impacts that I think have been great for our community and our students.
You still have pretty much the same faculty, pretty much the same students. You just have to kind of figure out how to do it a little differently now because you're not going 6 buildings here, everybody's in one spot. Yeah,
and I'll let Joe speak to it in a minute, but the one thing you can really do is you can look at everybody's strengths. We now have 200 people in one building as far as adults. And where's the strengths of each individual? And they play off those strengths to make things better for the kids, the community. And that's been the fun part of putting that puzzle together and looking where everybody's strong and playing off that and going off that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's definitely been a great experience. I told them this has been an easy opening. It went really smooth. The teachers have been very excited all year, the kids. A lot of new things for us, which has been a plus. New technology, interactive boards in every classroom. Of course, everybody has their own Chromebooks. We have speakers and microphones in every classroom so that they can hear, the students can hear a little bit better, and it's easier on the teachers' voices. So, but at the same time, adjusting to move 800 kids in a building on my side, it takes a little bit of planning and changing of plans and routes and that inside the building, but it's been successful.
I brought up the fact that you were with Chillicothe City Schools merely just because you've gone through the building phase. You've had that new car smell, so to speak, with a building and how to make it all work. How did that compare to what you experienced?
Well, I've told Mr. Williams, we did a lot of pre-planning at Logan Elm. We met with teachers for the last 2 years prior to coming into the building, so that was a plus. We had the teachers, we took several walkthroughs with the teachers. We looked at floor plans. Even down to the curriculum. Last year, we were even having curriculum meetings with what the new team would be at each grade level. So that was a major plus. And I was able to take what I'd done in the past and tweak it to make it a little bit better as we moved into our new building.
And I stopped you from saying what you were going to say.
I was just want to mention, when you look at the change, you go from even 6 cafeterias down to 1. So what we can offer kids at lunch is even better. Last year, the only school that we had was Pickaway Elementary, where children were not outside some part of the day, and McDowell as well. So when you have modular classroom, kids are leaving their classrooms, going outside in the weather, and then going back into the building to do that. So being in one space, that's one of the first things I noticed. Okay, now we have air conditioning. The buildings are climate controlled. And even in the fall, I heard coaches say, and band directors, kids have more energy at the end of the day because now you're in a building that has air conditioning versus sitting around all day in a hot building and then have to come out and perform at practice. So even the little small things like that have been a great change for our students and our faculty.
And I'm sure everyone has a little more patience with one another due to conditioning.
I think so. But when we now have 1,900 people, staff and students together, so your patience wears thin occasionally, I'm sure.
Sure. Yeah. As far as, and both of you can speak on this. What has this done to boost the morale for the faculty? Because, you know, you hear about a building being built, you watch this building being built, finally you get a chance to step inside. How did that feel?
Well, the staff, like I said, they are very excited. You know, we still had little hiccups here and there, but just to go into a classroom where you don't have to worry about cold air coming through the window, or you're plugging in 5 fans so that you can cool it down. All the desks are the same size. All the desks look alike. Just being there with their team. We went from having 2 teachers in each grade level to now we have 6, so they can work together, both the reading teachers and the math teachers at each grade level, where before they might have saw each other once or twice a year to work on things. But now we can meet once a week, they can meet every day, they can collaborate, and it does a lot for them and the students.
I know with the weather that we've had today, Tim, you're out driving part of the district. Do you kind of miss driving parts of the district to get to these other buildings?
Well, we still have buses that travel all the roads, so I still travel. But, you know, during the day, it's nice. I can just walk from my office over to the new building, and I can see grades PK through 12, where in the past, you're right, if I had to try to hit the 6 buildings, it would take all day, where now it's just a short walk. Back to your original question, I've always felt we had a great team, great staff. And I do believe you go from something old into something new, you're going to have that period of where this is a great change. And I think they've embraced that. We very seldom have much turnover at Logan Elm. I think people come, they enjoy it there. And I think this just gives us a little extra boost. And I'm glad we were able to do that. And I thank the community. I mean, they're taking on a big investment and supporting our education, supporting our students and staff. And we couldn't have done this without them as well.
A former classmate of mine, Scott Bartholomew, I never thought was going to leave.
Yeah. And I still see Scott around occasionally, so I don't know if he's truly left.
That's true. He still lives in Pickaway County.
Yes.
So. In regards to discipline, have you seen discipline have to decrease a little bit because the kids are reacting better?
Yes. I mean, I can say for myself and my assistant, I don't know that we have that much. I mean, you have those little hiccups here and there that you have to go take care of, but it's not like you're issuing lunch detentions and recess and that. So that makes it nice too.
I got to think that even the students' morale has changed.
Yes, and we have high school kids that come over. So we have high school students that come read with the little ones in kindergarten. We have high school students who come over and help tutor. We have the football players welcoming the students in on every Friday during the fall. So just a lot of that we can do now where we couldn't before. And the kids love that. They love seeing the older kids on their side of the building, helping them learn.
Sure.
And I know there was some days the cheerleaders came over, the band came over. I think at Halloween, maybe the younger kids went over in their costumes and marched around the 612 building.
Yes.
So that was nice as well to be able to do those things. And we can allow them to interact when we want to, and when we don't, there's 2 very distinct wings where they can stay and get their education. But I know there's been some mentoring as well. We need to expand that a little bit more, but that helps the younger kids, and because they look up to the older kids.
What about those who are a part of your tax base, but residents of the area that only remember the old, and then they walked in back in August and get a chance to see the new facility? Has it changed their mindset about the school system?
You know, I can't speak to everyone's mindset, but I know on our opening day where we had our ribbon cutting, we probably had, I hate to guess, I mean, I'm going to say 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 people that walked through the building that day, and a lot of positives came out of that, and I heard a lot of positive comments. You know, we have a rich history, and it's hard to lose some of the older buildings, and we're turning all those over to the township trustees and or the village council down in Laurelville. So I'm kind of excited to see once the buildings are demoed, what's those properties are going to become for the communities. There's some talks of some parks and some different things happening. So, you know, we'll watch that over the next year or two to see how that develops. But I know it's been hard on some, and I understand that because of the rich history, but there is excitement, I think, from the community as well.
The board and Mr. Williams and I know some community members did, but they worked really hard about bringing that history into the building. We have a timeline in the main hallway that starts way back and goes all the way up to the present. It's a beautiful thing. Down by the high school cafeteria, we have the Logan elm tree stump. We have parts of that in a showcase. And on my side of the building, on the elementary side, we have colors that represented each of the other elementaries back when they were separate high schools and had their own colors. So we've tried to bring all that into the new facility as well.
Yeah. I stepped back in time when I went to cover a game here maybe 5 years ago, and Terry Holbert and I walked back into part of the school to do the interview with some of the football players. And it was a flashback because I'd not been in there since like 1981. And I'm like, oh, wow, it still kind of looks the same.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But it's good to be able to keep that alive a little bit for those that will remember it, but we don't want them to forget the past.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Point. Anything that we have missed that you wanted to make sure people were aware of?
Well, I don't think we'll truly, as I've thought about some things, know the impact of the new building, maybe 2, 3, 4 years out. You begin to get data from tests. You begin to see how kids and staff enjoy the building. Changes need to be made. So I'm really excited maybe 3, 4 years from now, just take a look back and say, this was a great change and here are the reasons why. And I'm excited for that to happen. I don't want to wish my life away, so to speak, but I do think we're on an upward trajectory, and it'll be interesting to see what that truly looks like.
Did you do a time capsule or anything like that?
We did not. We did not do a time capsule.
There's still time. You're still within that first year. So.
True.
Because I got to thinking, these buildings, the way they're built these days is projecting 50, 75 years down the road. Who knows what might happen over the next 25 years, decrease or increase in size. And you may want to have a little something you can look back on.
And you make a good point. One other thing, and I'd be remiss, the state, which is the High Facilities Construction Commission, did a great job funding part of this project with us. And then the design was by Fanning and Howey Architects. And I think they designed a building that we can utilize now, but it also is going to serve us into the future. And then Summit Construction did a great job building the building. And then Mike Mendenhall, who's a Chillicothe, native, was our owner's rep. So that team worked together with the board to, I think, give our community a good product. And it's important to mention that too.
Yeah, Mike's had his hand in a number of projects around here regarding schools, and we can thank him for having a kind of an imprint on everything. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's done a great job there. Before we wrap up, McDowell Gymnasium is still going to remain, correct?
It does remain. I know this past weekend we had our annual high school wrestling meet in there, and there was some youth basketball. We've played our first 3 varsity games in the new gym. It's been a unique atmosphere. It holds about 1,000, where McDowell holds about 1,400. So the fans around the court, it's a unique atmosphere. We're off to a little rough start. We've only won 4 games, but we won all 3 games at home. So maybe we have a little bit of home court advantage there.
Start playing all those games.
I don't know. But we may play the high school game. I was told this morning we have Hall of Fame coming up. So the Hall of Fame game, we may move it over to McDowell. We still use that for my office and some district office space for some other people. Mm-hmm. So, we're utilizing that to the best we can.
I know that the commission sometimes requires you to demolish all buildings, but I have seen, like at Waverly, using the downtown gym they have there with your facility, it's still usable.
Yes.
So I hope they factor that in.
Yeah. And we have some, we took the old building where we had our ag classrooms and metal classrooms, and we just renovated that for a weight room for the football team and the other athletes, as well as put 3 locker rooms in there, because the old, if you remember, was in the high school and it's no longer there. So we just wrapped that project up. We got to do some field developments in the near future. So there's still some things going on.
Yeah, and shorten up that walk for the visiting team.
We're going to keep them at McDowell.
Yeah. And I got to tell you, you talked about being able to marry the kids all together. Watching Terry Holbert and the kids, the football kids, walk through the little tunnel of the younger kids, man, that is generational building right there to keep that pride going.
I moved here about 20 years ago, and I've stayed, and I've always said we have great kids. We have a great community. We have great kids. And I think it starts early, and they look up to the older kids. And for the most part, our older kids do the right things. And so it just builds a good tradition for numerous. And Joe mentioned the kids going over to the elementary and helping out some, and that's been something we could not have done until this year. And so that's been nice.
Are you participants in the Big Brothers Big Sisters mentoring as well?
Well, we are, but we're trying to do something on our own with our high school kids, with our students on the elementary side.
I thought about that when you mentioned that earlier about mentoring,
Yes.
and it's been a fantastic program at other locations, but not everybody's together like you are.
Right.
And the geographical location, and it's a win-win situation.
It is, and it's one of those great benefits for our kids, you know. And you were talking about the future, and we started last year. We had a Lego club in one building. Well, this year we're able to open it up to everybody. We had our first club meeting last night. We're meeting 2 nights a week, and we have 121 students in it. So. Being able to offer more after-school things for our students, we have more support. You know, we have all the staff together in one location, so we can do some of those things, which will, in return, make it better for the students.
Is there enough plastic for 121 kids to put Legos?
And Legos are not cheap. That's right. And, you know, the other thing, just the resources. So we have a school resource officer who can now service everyone. I may have mentioned that earlier, but the school nurse is now in one place, as well as the people who assist her. Those are big social workers. We're all under one roof instead of traveling. So that's been beneficial in meeting all the needs of the student, not just the academic needs.
It's togetherness,
Right.
and it's truly community when you start talking about it that way. Well, we lost Brad Morris this year, so we're going to have to wrap up with a salute to Brad with a Go Bravos. Thank you so much for stopping in today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Tim Williams and Joanna Strawser. Coming up, another edition of Litter Media Live here on Litter Media. Thanks for watching.